Hi all, a fascinating game has hit the chess media headlines in the Isle of Man Open tournament. There's actually, believe it or not, an international master who is just 11 years old. I mean, that's incredible in its own right. And actually he's got the name Anand within his name. Praggnanandhaa. I mean, I don't really know how to pronounce it. You can see it here. I mean, Praggnanandhaa, but you can see the word Anand, as in Vishy Anand in there. So who is this kid? Information at ChessGames.com shows he was born August 10th, 2005 in India. FIDE Master in 2013. International Master in 2016. That's this year. He just became an International Master. He was the Asian Under-8 champion in 2013. The World Under-10 champion in 2015. That's last year. The Asian Under-12 champion this year, 2016. He's the youngest ever person to have become an International Master. He did so on the 29th of May 2016, this year, the age of 10 years and 10 months and 19 days. Over 12 months younger than the record previously set by Sergei Karyakin, who of course is challenging Magnus Carlsen soon for the World Championship. That starts 11th of November, by the way. 11-11 is how I'm remembering it. It's a 12-game match. Anyway, so he won his IM norms by scoring 4.5 out of 9 at the 30th International Festival of Games, Tournament A, held in Cannes in February to March 2016. He scored 5 out of 9 at the Aeroflot B in Moscow in March 2016. That's amazing. He scored 6.5 from the first 9 rounds of the 9th KIIT International Festival in Odisha and in India in May 2016. Amazing. There's even more information at Wiki probably at some point, but this is the bio at ChessGames.com. So an incredible IM. His opponent, Axel Bachmann, is 26-year-old, and he's 2-6-2-1 his last FIDE rating. Very, very strong player. Grandmaster in 2007. In 2004, he won the Paraguayan Championship. And 10 years later, he won the Capel's Grand in 2014. First equal at the 2015 World Open. So a great player, Grandmaster, strong Grandmaster. Yeah, I mean, they're both great players. And they say in chess, age, origin, how you look, whatever. Chess is a great equalizer of people. We're talking about the fight on the chessboard. So, but it is incredible that this 11-year-old is so absolutely talented, amazing child prodigy. So let's have a look at this encounter. D4 from Axel Bachmann. Knight F6. We see Bishop F4, slightly unusual. G6. Knight C3. And it seems already White has the intention of castling queenside with something like Queen D2 and castling queenside. Against the fianchetto, it would make more sense, I believe, for Queen D2 to just swap off the bishop. So we see D5. Queen D2. It's a little bit of a risky strategy because, I mean, it can be double-edged because A, this knight could be a potential tempo gainer, and B, if Black ever uses the c-pawn, the queen's often quite active on the queen side, potentially with things like Queen A5. So a little bit of a dangerous strategy, this. Bishop G7, and we see an immediate Bishop H6. Black just castles. Bishop takes G7. King takes. With this exchange, okay, the king's slightly weakened, but White is also weakening himself on the dark squares. And he commits now to castling queenside. And Black hits hard on a central dark square. It's a very logical play to play C5. It's been seen before, though, it has to be said, this position. White plays E3. On D takes C5, this has occurred in Cabrera against Divini in 2014, which black won, and also Putke against Kulotz in 2015, which black won. It hasn't really fared that well. Continuation being like Queen A5, and you can see the knight is trying to hold A2 here. So yeah, if H4, H5, E3, this position is very, very pleasant for black with rook d8. If white ever takes on, that's kind of mistake. Yeah, it's so easy for black to get a really pleasant position here, basically. So easy after d takes c5. And if, yeah, this is probably even worse. Knight takes d5, queen takes a2. We have this queen c3. This position, this has occurred where black was better. This is actually one of the key stem games. Actually, this position occurred in Cabrera against Divini 2014, which black went on to win. Okay, so it's not that advisable, it seems, statistically, to take here at the moment. So yeah, we see e3, knight c6. Now f3, which has been seen before as well, believe it or not, it has occurred in Attila Vertitix against Joseph Palkovi in 2011. So quite high rated players, and it was a win for white, this game with f3. And there was also there's two stem games I've seen of this, and black didn't really seem to play the right plan. In one of the games there was h5, I think in the other bishop e6, but here I do believe we have a close to optimal plan for black against this f3. I mean, it has a very logical idea behind it to potentially, you know, undermine, well, potentially to play e4 at the right time, especially if black tries something, which he does. It seems to be going straight into white's e4 plan, because this kind of releases the central tension, you know, so it's stop asking the question on d4. So in a way, it's kind of strengthened d4, making e4, it seems on the surface, you know, more effective. But this is not bad, this c4 here. It seems objectively it's not bad. White plays e4, trying to undermine black's pawn chain, and the very aggressive point here is made in this position. Black has a great move available. Can you see what black played if I give you 5 seconds? Starting from now. Okay, the great point is made b5. This play, it seems absolutely dead simple and aggressive, but yeah, the two other games with f3, they didn't feature this, basically this position. It's super aggressive and super simple. The king is sitting there. We just need to get to it. How do we get to it? Well, you know, sack a pawn or two. Does it matter if we sack a pawn or two? Very, very aggressive. If black had played anything else like e6, then this position is going to be fine for white. Yeah, and it's black's king that's going to be in big trouble. He can't do that. So this very, very energetic b5 is played. E takes d5 is played, and it seems it might be less accurate than what maybe he should have played, which is knight takes b5. But this is tricky for white. White really doesn't want this sort of position, whereas king is just, it's seemingly under scrutiny. This kind of scenario is not pleasant if white has to play resourcefully just to put his king in a slightly more safe spot. If we get this continuation, this, by the way, is useful to try and keep things closed on h5 to play g5. It's still dangerous for white, And just to demonstrate, if white plays f4, even if we have this position, this is, I know this is far in, but there's things like rook b3, and white's king can still get in trouble. This is a fantasy variation. So yeah, let's go back. So, but knight takes b5 technically might be slightly better than what was played. Yeah, even though that doesn't look good, but you know, potentially white could be okay with a king on d2. So it seems super scary to do all this, to allow, you know, to have to allow a queen taking on b2. It seems super scary, but it already shows white's position is dangerous. So he plays e takes d5, knight b4, another. Yeah, it's tying down. I mean, unless white wants to lose a2, yeah, the question's put now here to white. If he tries to kick the knight, black has great choices available. Probably the most sensible and easy is just to take here with an advantage, positional advantage. But he could even try this. This is dangerous for white as well. It's more speculative. But yeah, just positional. This fine. So white didn't bother with that here. He played knight takes b5, hitting the knight. And has black blundered? Isn't this a bit of a concern? Maybe Axel was expecting maybe knight takes and then to take on c4. Maybe he was expecting this sort of position where maybe white's going to be solid, you know, with bishop sitting on b3 potentially later. And yeah, you know, maybe king b1, c3. You can imagine he can get on with his attack later. But the thing is, there's a nasty surprise waiting for him in this position, a tell of the unexpected. I don't know if any of you have seen that program that was once on the Tells of the Unexpected. But yeah, there's a tell of the unexpected here, because it seems this next move is super powerful, super good, that black plays in this position. If I give you 5 seconds, black to play, what would you play here? Starting from now. Okay, black is intent to seemingly self-trap his knight with this move. And it seems as though, hold on a sec, isn't the knight trapped? It can't go back to b4 anywhere. Well, there's a defense here which is sufficient and very, very good. Can you see what black plays now? Okay, queen takes d5. Yeah, so if king takes, there's the nasty discovered check. That's brilliant for black in all lines. For example, here, check. Here, queen takes, and black's winning. Piece. So, no, not too clever to take there. So we see knight a3. But now, white's king is just even worse now after c3. It's just getting smashed up, the pawn structure. If you have double pawns around your king, that's often bad news. I've noticed that myself in blitz chess. Yeah, double pawns are not a great safety aspect in some cases. Quite often, you have double pawns around your king, it's more difficult to defend things. We have b takes in this position. Basically, where can the queen go? It can't go there, we just take it. Where can the queen go? Queen here. Then there'll be bishop e6. Nice battery. And say bishop c4, queen b7, threatening mate. And say this position, bishop takes. Here, knight hitting the queen. Say the queen throws in the check. Knight b4, and now there's so much pressure on c2 here. So for example, like this is really dangerous. How does white defend this position? I mean, for example, things like this. It's just horrible. It's just horrible, basically. So yeah, after c3, b takes is played, not moving the queen anywhere. Yeah, B takes is played, we see check, queen a5. Yeah, it looks as though white's king's safety is being shot to pieces. He's offering the knight, because now we're taking this, so it's a knight sack. Yes, pretty good knight sack. And now knight d5 threatening, knight takes c3. And you might think, well, hang on, isn't white defending? But now the simple and the strong bishop e6 threatening a very nasty double check. And the game actually ended here. White resigned. So 18 moves. 18 moves. Yeah, miniature. If c4, as an example, check and mate. Yes, that wasn't too complicated, was it? Here, I mean, if well, the king moves, we've always got this double check as well, which forces the king on the a file, and then we can play bishop takes c4 check, in fact, here. For example, bishop takes c4. Yeah, white's just getting shredded and mated, basically in all lines in this position. Anything else to look at? Rook b1, knight takes c3 double check, king goes back, queen takes a3. You get the idea. It's pretty. There's no defense. There's just no defense here. Yeah, it's just gone. It's just gone. Absolutely disastrous game, really. Yeah, let's check here. Queen takes. Shocking, isn't it? 26-20 GM just getting massacred. But, you know, his opponent's already... Okay, he's 11 years old, but he's already an absolute legend, because he's like the youngest ever international master. His achievements this year and last year are just fantastic. And this is a great scalp for him. But to do so in such a style, you know, against the 2600 plus opponent, where the two stem games, you know, maybe it's possible he was aware of the two stem games, and just because white won those after the f3, maybe thought it was like safe enough. But black's play was so crisp, direct. It had this clever simplicity about it. Simple but very, very effective, which other people had not played. The two other game examples, they've not played that way against f3. But yeah, very, very direct, exposing white's king safety issues on the queen side. That's the brutal side of chess here as well. Okay, I hope you got something from it. And I might actually, for this game, because it's a miniature, this great new training site, Chessable, I'm actually going to make it the annotations of this if you want to train yourself on some of the variations. Just as an experiment for these kind of miniature games, I'm putting that up at Chessable. So follow the link in the description of the video if you want a bit of free training. It's a free training book at Chessable. So yeah, okay. Comments, questions, likes, appreciate this. Thanks very much.